Welcome back guys, and it's time to go balls deep today, and we'll be covering 10 villains that you, or at least us, rooted for. These are the type of characters where we can't help but support them due to their ideology, their actions or development. We are also joined by MudanTV. Some of you viewers may know of him from our other collaborations from 2016 and 17. Check those videos out after if you'd like to. But before we start this list, there are a couple of rules. No main characters, because you know, that would be too easy and basic. So Light from Death Note, Lucy from Elfen Lied, Griffith from Berserk, and many others don't count and they are out of this list. Also, characters who have a change of heart midway, they don't count too. They have to be true to their villainous ways until the very end. So if you think of a character yourself that resonated with you, let us know in the comment section below. Okay, this one is obvious, but Pain from Naruto is like an anti-hero type character in one point of view, because the backstory and philosophy is well developed and explained during the fight. The way the character was written, amazing. It's easy as viewers to able to put ourselves in Pain's shoes and come to the same conclusion as he did, because we all want revenge and think that is justice if it was the real world. The cycle of hatred and violence is a real thing in the Naruto universe, as well as real life is what I'm trying to say. The way Nagato suffered from the shinobi lifestyle due to people's selfish interests to gain for their own country. I mean, Nagato and the initial Akatsuki were meant for peace and to reform the Rain Village to a new start. It was only after where Tobi and Madara came in and it all got corrupted. So due to the famous speech and the concept of justice, which kind of falls under the eye for an eye concept, where some of us would say it's justified, since if you are oppressed by others, let's be honest, you should fight for your freedom. Pain easily falls under the list of a bad guy that we backed.
One Piece coming from an angle where the protagonist takes the position of being pirates, which in our world isn't really in the side of good, leaves us, the audience, in a unique position to stand on, as the enemies of the protagonist, in this case the Marines, would also then take the position of playing the villain. Hence, I was initially going to suggest Akainu as a villain due to him being on the opposite end. However, it would be hard to justify him as an actual bad guy. At the same time, it's even harder to say I rooted for his character. Instead, Blackbeard felt like the best choice, as after all, he is one of the most treacherous villains portrayed in anime history. The reason I felt a sense of support for Blackbeard was due to the fact that out of all the characters in One Piece universe, Blackbeard's character truly felt like a real portrayal of how a pirate king would be. If we set aside the question of morality, Blackbeard is a great representation of freedom and staying true to your dreams. This is also shown in one of my favourite accounts throughout the series, which was during the first introduction to Blackbeard's character, and where he gave his speech to Luffy at Mocktown, encouraging him on his journey to Sky Island.
Pegasus is one of the first villains in the Yugioh series, and probably altogether the first anime for most American millennials. He's a bad dude because he stole the soul of Yugi's grandpappy and forced him and his friends to enter the Duelist Kingdom to get him back. He also stole Mokuba's soul, but nobody cares about him, so I don't count that as a villainous deed. Thing is though that his favorite food is wine and gorgonzola cheese, and who can hate the guy with such good taste? I'm totally rooting for him. Oh, alright, fine, that's not all. He also has a semi-good motivation, even though it's a bit selfish. He just wants to revive his girlfriend, lover, wife Cecilia, or in the case of the sub, make a holographic version of her. Reviving her, or making a holographic version of her. That's a pretty big difference. What's up, 4Kids? Why didn't you just do the same thing as in the sub? The thing is that to achieve his goals, he needed Kaiba Corp's technology, which meant that he had to fight against the other a-hole in the show, Seto Kaiba. So I was completely on his side when he fought Kaiba and trapped his soul. And after Yugi won, he honored the deal and even paid out the prize money. So for me, he's a guy who had good goals but did some bad stuff. But overall, he was still pretty likable and fair. Wait, are we sure he isn't actually a good guy?
Okay, so when it comes to Kuroko no Basuke, the funny thing about this anime is that all viewers tend to pick a team or character that they prefer more besides the main cast. This could either be because the other team is more relatable, have a better motive, or just simply written better. The top 3 characters in the show that we always choose over Kagami and Kuroko, for example, are Oemin, Akashi or Kisei, right? So in my case, my favorite character in the whole anime is Oemin. Whenever he was playing ball on the opposite team and playing the role of the antagonist, I wasn't against him in not winning or unleashing the basketball skills on everyone to absolutely stomp them. When we learn about his backstory, it's revealed he often fooled around with Kuroko and Kisei as well, and having a lot of passion for basketball, which resulted in him often completely crushing his opponents. It results in his quest to find his equal on the court. He mentions, "The only one who could beat me is me." Now, when a character can say that and back it with his actions, you best believe they are cool as hell. On top of that, Oemin isn't even a bad person or heartless. He teaches and explains the zone ability to Kagami, and even cries for other teams for their passion and triumphant goals that they achieve when they win. And in my opinion, I think that's one of the great things about Kuroko no Basuke. When the protagonist, which is Team Seren, go against another team involving Kisei, Oemin, Akashi or the others, we as viewers tend not to go with bias. At least I wasn't when I was watching the anime. I always had a neutral or positive stance to see the best game of basketball from all the characters, to see them go all out on court.
Azazel from Shingeki no Bahamut. A lot of you probably don't even know this anime, but those who do will more or less understand why Azazel is on this list. Azazel, being a fallen angel and the second in command to the chief Lucifer, is already portrayed as something as evil and vile. However, in the second season, it becomes impossible to not take Azazel's side as he roams the kingdom fighting oppression for his race. Although Azazel in the first season was depicted as an arrogant demon who saw humans as insects, his change in personality due to the hardship he faced was inspiring. It made me think how hard times is important to build character. Regardless of what oppression can do to any sentient being, be it humans, demons or angels, it brings out the fighting spirit and the understanding of justice. It also reminds me of a saying from Bruce Lee: "Do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one, as from that we truly grow." Along with that, Azazel's relationship with other characters start to give more light to him, and seeing him change is what really brought me to root for him.
Oh my god, there are so many charismatic villains to choose from in My Hero Academia, but Stain definitely stands out because while others are downright evil with their evil motivation and evil looking clothes and doing evil stuff, Stain only does evil stuff, but his motivations are kinda goodish. Alright fine, his clothes also look evil, but that's still one more point than the rest. Even though he kills heroes, which is a big no-no, his reason behind that is just, in a very twisted way. He hates false heroes and doesn't think it's right to earn money from helping others. Thus, he became an unforgiving stone-cold killer who doesn't think twice about killing heroes or kids, but he is against needless bloodshed. He doesn't care about people who are just trying to do good or be the best that they could be. So when he's facing against someone who is not against his ideals and seems completely selfless while helping others like Midoriya, he not only stops trying to kill him, but also rescues him later on while delivering a bone-chilling speech while also being completely wasted. He's kinda like Hisoka of the My Hero Academia series, charming and suave, helping out their hero while still doing evil things like stabbing people with the pointy knife and tasting their blood. Also, he looks like a goddamn Ninja Turtle and I love those guys.
Okay, there's no way in hell we can finish this list without putting Fulmer Alchemist Brotherhood on it. So this involves a lot of philosophy and themes that explore the meaning behind what drives different individuals. What is the meaning of life? What is truth? Who gives you value in life? Is revenge the right answer? And pretty much a shit ton of more questions that we all ask ourselves at some point of our life when we self-reflect. So the antagonists of Fulmer Alchemist Brotherhood are the 7 homunculi. A homunculus is an artificial created human being brought to life by the power of alchemy. The homunculi are unique antagonists in that each of them is the living personification of one of the 7 deadly sins. The last homunculus to die in the anime is Greed, and Greed, just as his name states, has a love for riches. Greed demands the finer things in life, which includes money, women, power and sex. But his development throughout the anime is fantastic. We can't help but support him during the show due to his actions and dialogue. He's a very relatable person to every single one of us watching because we have all felt greed in one point of our life. For example, when he states, "You humans think greed is only about power and money, but don't forget, everybody wants something that they don't have." Right, I messed that up, but this rings true to all of us. What's interesting to note about Greed's conclusion is that he isn't actually defeated. Now this is a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the anime by now, you need to go and watch it. I'm warning you now. But anyway, Greed sacrifices himself for the greater good, which shocked all of us. It's the opposite of his personification and ironic. It's actually selfless instead of selfish. Greed's death is the most meaningful and even touching, because all he ever wanted was friends, which he ended up having during his journey of saving the world. In the end, Greed dies because he realizes that his friends are all that he ever needed to be satisfied. He doesn't need power or riches or beautiful women to fulfill his desires. Greed's character reminds us to, look at what we have and be thankful, focusing on bettering the lives of others by being a bit more selfless, focusing on yourself and always trying to gain these materialistic things. It kind of will never satisfy you.
Alright, so Hunter x Hunter, hands down, is among our top 10 all-time anime. Within the series, we literally encounter countless amazing villains and antagonists, so it's not easy just picking one from this series. However, Miriam would instantly be put first on my list. Why, you ask? Well, let's start with the fact that Miriam, although being a villain, isn't really morally wrong. His action is more or less an outcome of naturalism at its finest, where a subjective moral notion wouldn't really apply. Miriam's destiny was to be born as the king of an entire species of chimera ants. Us, the audience, being humans ourselves, sometimes forget Miriam's side of the story. If we separate ourselves from our human identity, it wouldn't be far-fetched to side with Miriam, who in his own rights wants to govern the planet due to being the superior species. Along with that, Miriam's character itself is actually inspiring if you think about it. His constant battle of tactics and intellect with Komugi while playing Gongi was touching to see, along with his amazing development since his introduction. And during the end, we could even say that Miriam's character advanced so far even in the terms of human morality. I can't help myself wanting to have witnessed where the peak of Miriam would have reached. His ruling over the world might have potentially even been a great benefit to all species, even us humans. Like, think about it, when he regained his memories after the nuke, he didn't kill Knuckle, he didn't kill Malarion. In fact, even before being nuked, he advised Nitaro to go to the hospital and didn't want to kill him. There is also the theory that Miriam plausibly fell in love with Komugi and found his own humanity. There are many more reasons why I personally rooted for Miriam, which deserves a video for itself. But for now, let's head to the next one on our list.
From the get-go, we've been instructed to hate him and everything that he stands for, banishing the entire human race underground, creating beastmen to hold them down, and for what? Well, wait, can I spoil this or not?
Do it, son!
Yeah, you've had 11 years, that's plenty of time. Though I'm not going to go into any specifics, so don't worry too much. Just that Lord Genome had a very, very good reason for doing what he did, but isn't that an excuse for most of the villains? Well, he's been around the world for a very long time, once even fighting for the sake of humanity. Only out of despair did he banish humans, but everything was just to keep the race alive and not let them go extinct. Honestly, this is where the brilliance of the show comes from. From his viewpoint, he is the hero, and there is no question that what he did was justified and the only option to keep on living. But is it still okay, hundreds of years later, even if people are unaware of the motive behind it, and when faced with the decision might choose a different future? But because Lord Genome takes away people's ability to choose their own paths, that's a bit inexcusable. On the one hand, you have the extinction of the entire humanity, and on the other, you have living underground as slaves without any happiness. What do you choose?
And finally, one of the most rooted for bad guy is, Titans? Who the heck wrote that? They eat people, man!
I added the Titans to this list because just look at them, they're just so cute and adorable running around like that. No, but seriously, the Titans to me are actually victims. They're just trying to become human again. The concept of Titans existing as a whole would be difficult to support for, as they are any human's worst nightmare. But if you think about it deeply, by the way, massive spoiler alert, the Titans are technically just being used as a biological weapon. They are in a mindless sleep-like state, roaming the earth endlessly. Them eating humans is more of an instinctive mechanism to be freed from this mindless state. The Titan's sole purpose in life is to seek out and devour humans, which could be due to the innate survival process to seek a human who possesses the power of a Titan, for if a Titan consumes a human with it, the Titan will become a human again. A classic case is with Ymir. Think about it. If you were turned into a Titan against your will, abused and used for war by other humans, why would it be wrong for you to devour anything in your way to just become human again? So in some weird sort of way, I do support the pure Titans. They are the real victims, and the true villains are the kingdoms fighting between themselves.
Well, what do you guys think are bad guys that you rooted for? Put it down in the comment section below. Maybe you have different opinions. Leave a like and subscribe, and check out MudanTV for his videos and go ahead and binge them. You can follow us on social media such as Instagram and Twitter, and we see you guys next time.